Down Under Diaries, Diary Entry 7. Welcome to Canberra and Enlightenment Festival. Dear Diary, this third week of class has once again been quite uneventful, but it ended up being quite interesting nonetheless. Nothing happened during uni, but on Friday, the Chief Government of the Australian Capital Territory invited all international students to a welcome event and barbecue to welcome us to Australia and to Canberra. All international students from all universities in Canberra were invited, and let me tell you, I did not know that there were so many universities here, but apparently there are. At the same time, there was a festival going on in Canberra right next to where we met, which was called Enlighten, and it was all about light installations on some of the most important buildings here in Canberra, and it was really cool to see it. Between the welcome event and the time that it got dark, we had some time to kill, and we learned that there was an 80s night in the old Parliament building, and that they were doing karaoke, and we decided to check it out. Spoiler alert, we never made it to the karaoke, even though that was the whole reason that we went to the old Parliament in the first place. But that was because they turned the old Parliament House into a museum about Australian politics and Parliament in the 80s, which is when they moved into the new Parliament buildings. And it is really interesting, and as a bunch of students that study international relations, it was obvious that we had to go and check out the exhibit instead. I absolutely loved it, but I have to go back another day because we barely skimmed like half of the museum, and we also didn't really have time to fully immerse ourselves with all of the informations and all of the texts that they had out. Due to the festival and to the 80s night, we got to do some fun challenges that they'd set up throughout the museum, and one of them was writing on a typewriter. As some of you may know, and as most of you will probably learn, I absolutely love typewriters. So it's actually been one of my favorite experiences here in Australia so far, hands down. We were technically supposed to put the letter into a letterbox because we were supposed to write some hot takes, and I was so into it and I spent so much time on my letter that the volunteer that was working there was like, yeah, I'll give you the pin, because for each challenge we completed we got a pin. And so she told me like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the pin even if you don't put in the letter, because you seem to have had so much fun doing this and you put so much effort into it that I'm okay with you keeping it instead. So I've got the pin and the letter, which are two amazing souvenirs. And then we went to enjoy the light installations outside and get some food before we headed home quite late. And my long run this week was also really, really cool. And I think I'll probably be redoing this route or doing some variation of it, because I ran the Western Loop around LBG and it came out to like 16k, but it was absolutely beautiful and stunning and I enjoyed it. And for being around 16k, it was surprisingly flat, which I also love. As some of you may know, I do not like running when there's elevation, so that was a good one. So that's all for week number 3 of class, or week number 5 here in Australia. Talk to you again soon. Love, Nadia.